Boo, boo, boo. Kevin McHale blew it in this game. Now, you guys know I've given him credit when I thought he made the right decisions, like in the Orlando game when Jeremy was benched for the whole fourth quarter. But what I also said was that I gave him credit because it worked. So when it doesn't work, then he gets criticism. And so I can boo him tonight. And that's how it works. That's why being a coach is tough. Because if you make moves and they don't work, then you're going to take the blame. And that's exactly what happened to Kevin McHale tonight. We'll get to a little bit more in a second. Now, I just want to let you guys know, I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of the comments from the Game 61 video in this video. I answered 10 or 15 that I wrote down. I just have to do more later. I just had some other stuff going on today. I just couldn't get to all of the comments, but I will get to them. I'll either do a comment video or I'll wrap them into the next video like I did with the last video. So, as I said, though, I read all the comments. I've read everything. I appreciate the feedback, and I will answer them. I just didn't have a chance to do that before making this video. But, again, I appreciate all the feedback, and the comments are great. And if I don't get to your comment today, I just went through and kind of just picked a couple out really quickly. So it was relatively random. Okay, let's get to the game. Dallas 112, Houston 108. Houston falls to 33-29 on the year, but they are still in the number 7 seed for the Western Conference playoffs because Utah lost tonight. The Lakers won. They were down by 25 points, and they came back against New Orleans, so they pulled out a big win. The Golden State Warriors are playing right now and have a slight lead in the second quarter against the Sacramento Kings. But, again, Utah is tanking. They're faltering, and that means that Houston is in good shape. Now, that doesn't mean that we want to see the Rockets start losing games, but there's a little bit of a cushion, even though Houston's only up on Utah by half a game or a game. But if Utah keeps losing, well, it's going to get a lot easier for Houston, even if the Lakers do well. And so, as I said, the main goal is make the playoffs. Sure, it'd be great if Houston can get the 6th seed or whatever, but I'm not concerned about that right now. Just make the playoffs. And after this game, there are 20 games left. So that's the only thing on my mind is just getting to the postseason, and then that is success. We also saw Dallas isn't tanking. There are certain teams around the league, and people will say they're not even trying hard. They want to get a better position in the lottery, so they can get a higher draft pick and stuff. Well, Dallas isn't one of those teams. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they played hard tonight, very hard, and they played well. And Dallas has talent. When they're hitting shots, they're pretty good, and they hit some shots tonight. What happened in this game, McHale went small ball, which means basically small ball means you're going with less size on the court. So maybe you don't play a real center. You play like a power forward at center, and you go with a smaller lineup. And the thought process there is let's score a lot of points and run and outrun the other team and make them try to defend us and outscore us. It kind of worked for some of the fourth quarter. It did work early in the fourth, but it didn't work well enough. And so what McHale's trying to do is, again, he's trying to figure out how to use the new pieces in the trades. And this is the chemistry thing. And that's what he's trying to do. There was some success tonight, but in the end they lost, so it didn't work. And look, it's difficult for everybody. It's difficult for McHale. It's difficult for the players. And it's really difficult when you're trying to get new guys involved and you don't win. And that's what happened tonight. So Jeremy did not play in the fourth quarter, just like the Orlando game. So this is the second time in 3 games that Jeremy has not played in the fourth quarter. In the Orlando game, it worked. Tonight, didn't work. And so like I said, I'm booing McHale, and all the criticism of McHale is fair tonight because it didn't work. If Houston won tonight, then I would have said, great, I would have clapped for him again, but it didn't work. So that's where we're at. And that's, like I said, I'm fair as I can be. When it works, great. Because, again, the thing I care about is winning. I care about winning more than I care about Jeremy's stats. And Jeremy cares about winning more than anything. But they didn't win tonight. So, boo, McPhail, McNugget, McJoke, McChoke. All of that is fair, in my opinion. Okay, let's turn to Jeremy. Jeremy had a solid game. This wasn't one of his better games recently, but it was a solid game. He had 12 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He played 25 minutes, shot 5 of 10 from the field, was 1 of 2 from three-point range, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, no steals, no blocks, 3 turnovers, no fouls. His plus-minus was -7, and his efficiency number was 8. Patrick Beverley, who played 23 minutes and played all of the fourth quarter, had no points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. His efficiency number was also 8, and his plus-minus was +3. So looking at the plus-minus and a couple other things, you could make a case for Patrick Beverley being in this game instead of Jeremy. There is a case to be made. And just like the Orlando game, Jeremy played well in the first half, but he didn't play really well in the third quarter. So there's a case you could make for putting Patrick Beverley in this game and keeping him in for all of the fourth quarter. It just didn't work. So it's not a convincing case to me tonight because they didn't win. If they won, great. I don't care what Patrick Beverley's stats are. And I don't care if Jeremy's benched in the fourth because Houston won. But they didn't win, so it didn't work. And now I'm not happy that Jeremy didn't play. Because if Jeremy had played, maybe they win. Okay, let's start a quarter by quarter. One of the things that Dallas did, they made a very conscious effort to slow down Jeremy in this game. Now, someone brought this up recently, and I answered it in the last video, I believe, about the scouting report and planning for certain players and not planning for other players. And we talked about how Patrick Beverley might have looked better because teams weren't planning for him. Well, tonight, as I said, Dallas seriously planned for Jeremy. They really built a lot of their defensive game plan around Jeremy. They started Mike James instead of Darren Collison. Mike James is a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical than Darren Collison. And again, that was because Jeremy torched Darren Collison, basically. So that was one thing that they did differently. Another thing they did a little bit differently was they aggressively trapped Jeremy on the pick and roll, meaning they double-teamed him off of the pick and roll a lot. What that means is you worry about the guard more than you're worried about the other offensive player. So if the other offensive player comes up and sets a pick and then he starts drifting to the rim, you're not worried about him. Your main concern is to trap the man with the ball in his hand, who is Jeremy Lin. And Dallas was aggressive with that tonight. It's another sign that they wanted to slow down Jeremy, along with Mike James being put in the starting lineup. The third sign that they were concerned about Jeremy was they were doing a lot of what is known as picking up the player full court. What that means is when you're on defense when the offensive team throws the ball in bounds from all the way down the court, you made a basket and they're throwing the ball in bounds, you're going to guard that man bringing the ball up the entire length of the court. And that person is Jeremy Lin. And Dallas was picking up Jeremy Lin full court on defense a lot of this game. So when you look at those three things taken together, Mike James starting lineup, trap hard, picking traps on the pick and roll, picking up Jeremy a lot on full court. What they tried to do, the decision that they made, if we slow down Jeremy, we're going to slow down Houston's offense. And they did. It worked. And that again shows you how important Jeremy is. We've talked about this in previous games. When Jeremy goes out or Jeremy fouled out of that one game, Houston's offense fell apart. Well, that happened some in this game. And that was because Dallas focused on it so much. And it does give you an idea of how important Jeremy is. So, and again, Dallas was game planning for Jeremy Lin. They weren't game planning for Patrick Beverley. And that may have been part of the reason why McHale put him in the fourth, put Beverley in. Okay, you guys are all ready for this guy. Let's put in the other guy. But again, it didn't work. So I can't really defend it. Okay, early in the first, Jeremy had a nice assist to Demo for a layup. Then he had another assist to Demo, and Demo did that up and under move that I've talked to you guys about. He's extremely good at that, and he hit the basket and got the foul, and that was really nice. Jeremy was running a very good pace early in this game, meaning he was getting the ball up and down the court well, which is good. Midway through the first quarter, Jeremy did a nice little, he drove to the lane and it was kind of like a step through move, which again, he stopped. He didn't pivot backwards like he did, but he just kind of, the defender came up to him and he kind of ducked under the guy and then jumped and hit a nice little, I guess, like, I don't know how you would call that shot, like just a kind of like a half jumper, half floater. That was a good play, though. Again, Jeremy's getting better with those moves in the paint, including kind of semi post-up moves. And that was what that was, and it was an excellent move. Okay, Jeremy hit a nice layup, and he got fouled. This was late in the first quarter. He made the free throw. That was a tremendous play as well. I think, if I remember right, he got fouled, knew he was fouled, and then put the layup in afterwards to get the and one. Very good play. Good concentration to him. Also, late in the first, Jeremy had a nice assist to Chandler for a three-point basket. Jeremy came out of the game in the first quarter with 2 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first. Dallas was ahead 25-23. Then I just made a note near the end of the first that Thomas Robinson, he missed an outside jump shot, like a baseline shot. And as I was telling you guys the other day, that does hurt the offense because he's not a great shooter, unlike Patrick Patterson and Marcus Morris. They're better distance shooters than Thomas Robinson is. So that does change the dynamics of the offense. And I just made a note about that here. Okay, Jeremy did not start the second. He was on the bench, and McHale was going with the small ball lineup here. What that looked like was Thomas Robinson was playing center, and no Ashik and no Demo. And again, that's what they're going to need to do to be able to play the offense that they've run the whole year. Because Thomas Robinson can't shoot, you're going to have to put him at center if you're going to run the one, post-up guy plus four guys on the perimeter. He has to be the center in that. And that's what the small ball is looking like, and that's what they were going with early in the second quarter. It worked pretty well. I mean, again, this is the nice thing about depth. It worked pretty well. Houston kind of got back into the game a bit, and we're hanging around. Jeremy came back into the game with 5 minutes and 58 seconds left in the second quarter. Dallas was ahead 47-45 at that point in the game. Jeremy had a nice drive to the hoop in the middle of the second. Little floater in the middle of the lane that he hit. That was really nice. Jeremy he went for a nice layup. I can't remember if it was lefty or righty. I didn't write it down. He missed it. I think it was a left-handed layup. It was a double clutch where you go up and you come back down and you go back up just to avoid a person or a defender. And but it was a good attempt, and it was high up over a couple of big men. So, like I said, he's working on different things. He's working on different shots so that he can still get shots up and be successful with them, going against taller players and more athletic players. So it's nice to see, even though he missed that shot. Right at the buzzer of halftime, Jeremy hit what looked like a three-pointer, although apparently they changed it to a two-pointer, I guess, unless they changed another Houston basket. Jeremy hit it was a catch-and-shoot jump shot from about 12 degrees right of the center of the arc. He caught a pass from James Harden and let it go right before halftime. Just a perfect shot. It was just a very clutch shot, and it's a great play by Jeremy. Like I said, originally the score was reported at I can't remember, Dallas. They gave it a 3 points at first, and then later they took a point away from Houston. So I was assuming that was on Jeremy's basket, although I'm not sure about that. What the referees do now more is they'll go back and check 3-point baskets when they have a chance to do so, like at halftime, and they'll look and see if a guy's foot was on the line. So they took away a point from Houston. I'm not sure why, although my assumption was that it was for Jeremy's shot, although it looked like a clean 3-pointer to me. When Jeremy was going to the locker room, he stopped and talked with Rodney Beaubois of the Mavericks, just really quickly, like a friendly talk. I have no idea what that was about, but he stopped, and I could see it was Beaubois that he was talking to. Okay, Jeremy started the third quarter. He hit a nice catch-and-shoot three from 15 degrees to the right of the center of the top of the arc from James Harden. Well, Jeremy was 1 of 2 from 3 for the game, so if that was a clean 3, then yeah, he must have stepped on the line in that other shot before at the halftime buzzer. This catch-and-shoot 3 came with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Middle of the third quarter, Jeremy drove down the right-hand side of the lane, put up a little scoop layup over 2 defenders, and he missed it, but because he had drawn 2 defenders, what happened was he missed it. It went to the other side of the rim, and Omer Ashik was wide open because his defender went to help Jeremy, and he just got an easy putback layup. That's useful. Derrick Rose does that a lot. He'll drive to the rim, and he'll draw all the attention, and he'll miss, but then one of his guys has an easy putback because their man is defending Derrick Rose. And that's what happened on this play. And it worked beautifully for Jeremy. Now, in the middle of the third quarter, Jeremy had one of those little turnover bundles that we haven't really seen since early in the season. He had 2 relatively quick turnovers. I missed one of them. I was writing notes. But I saw the other one, and it was one of the full court passes, and I think Sean Marion just got his hands on the pass, and that was a turnover. So that was a mistake. I mean, those plays are great, but they're great when they work. Just like for McHale, it's great when his little strategic moves work, not great when they don't work. So again, he did struggle some in the third quarter here. He did, but not terribly, but some. He was not as good in the third quarter as he was in the first half, which was similar to the Orlando game. Okay, late in the third, Jeremy made a nice cut to the basket. James Harden saw him, gave him a nice pass. That was a simple layup. That came with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left, in the third quarter. We talked about last video, Jeremy needs to get better working off of the ball, making offensive moves and setting up for shots when you don't have the ball. This was another example of that. He did that well with the cut last game, and he did it right there. As I said, James Harden's unselfish. He'll pass you the ball, and he did there for Jeremy. That was great. Okay, Dallas was up 83-76 with 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in the third quarter. Jeremy came out of the game for Patrick Beverley, and that was the last that Jeremy played in this game. So basically, Jeremy didn't play for the last 15 minutes of this game, and it didn't work. So Mikhail's going to get crushed, and he should. Now, Houston, the small ball was working because, again, they went to small ball in the fourth quarter. And as I mentioned, when Jeremy came out of the game late in the third, Dallas was up 7. Well, Houston actually went back up by 2 late in the fourth. Harden hit a 3, and looked like Houston was pretty good. But unfortunately, they weren't able to keep that lead. Harden's three-pointer put Houston up 104-102 with 3 minutes and 39 seconds left. And then after that, it just kind of slipped away from Houston. Dallas basically closed out strong, and Houston didn't. Now, there was one play, though, very late in this game. It was 110-108 Dallas. Harden had gone up for a shot, and he missed it, and the ball went out of bounds. And this was like 7 seconds left in the game. And they called it Houston's ball, and then they went and reviewed it, and they changed it. I thought that was not a good call. It looked like it clearly, to me, it went off of Dallas. So if that call goes the other way, well, Houston might score a basket, and they went to overtime, and maybe they win. But it didn't happen that way, so they lost. And that's, again, for a coach, that's the difference between winning and losing. If that play goes differently, maybe everything's cool, and the small ball plan works, and nobody cares, or nobody can be too upset that Jeremy didn't play the last 15 minutes. But it didn't work that way, so now you got a problem. And that's how it works. Like I said, that's why coaching is stressful, and that's what big-time coaching is all about. Okay, the summary here is that Jeremy was unfairly dissed. In the last 15 minutes, he should have played because you didn't win. So you might have won if you had put him in. But I'm not worried about it the same way I wasn't worried about it after Orlando. Why? Because Jeremy's competitive, and he's going to bounce back the same way he did in the first Dallas game. So I'm not concerned about Jeremy at all. He'll be fine. He'll be back. Mikhail needs to learn from this. And again, I'm not crushing Mikhail here because he's trying to find chemistry with the new guys. He's trying to figure out different lineups and what he can do. But it didn't work, and now you got to learn from it. The same way that Jeremy or anybody else has to learn from it. The small ball lineup does have potential. They were able to do some good things in this game with small ball. Not only did Jeremy not play in the fourth, neither did Omer. So it wasn't just a diss of Jeremy. It was just Mikhail was trying to go with the small lineup. He was trying something specific. And it did work some. It did. It did work well to a certain extent. So I think it's great that Houston wants to do that more. It's just tough when you do it and you lose. So, but it is something to keep an eye out for because it does have potential. And if Houston can play different styles and different lineups, that's really going to help them. And they do have the depth to do that. They do have enough talent on this team where they can play different lineups and different styles. So that's encouraging. Finally, with this, as I said, the only thing that matters is the playoffs. Make the playoffs. And because Utah lost, we're still in good shape. Houston's still in good shape. It's unfortunate they lost this game, but they lost it. It's a road game. Dallas was hyped up to play them. Houston lost. So on to the next game. Again, there are 4 teams competing now for 3 spots. Golden State, Houston, Utah, Lakers. All we got to do is beat out one of those teams. Houston does, and then everything's cool. So we're still in a good position to do that. So I'm okay. I'm not happy that they lost, but it's all right. Okay, on to the quick comments and questions. Now, I said this is a couple answers to some comments from the Games Number 61 video, which was the last Dallas game before tonight's Dallas game in this little home-and-home series. It is now 12 a.m. midnight on the dot here on the East Coast of the United States. We are crossing over from Wednesday, March 6th into Thursday, March 7th, which means it is 1 p.m. sharp on Thursday, March 7th in Taipei, Taiwan. Okay. OMG, by golly, wow. That's awesome. I'm glad that you got to listen to the whole 2-hour Game 61 video. It was a long video. And I must say that by listening to the entire 2-hour video, you have won the internet, as has everybody else that watched all 2 hours. That was a long video. The thing that's interesting about that video is that about an hour and 20 minutes of it was comments, answering comments, which is cool. I mean, it just the game part of the thing was 40 minutes or 50 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I had a lot of fun making it. And it was a long video. There's no doubt about that. Bluebell 903, also happy that you got to listen to the whole video. That's sweet. And don't tempt me, or else you're going to get to hear my bad singing voice again with the Bieber imitation, if you want to call it that. I will try to stop being so civil and mature when defending myself, I promise. Hanny Chang from Taiwan, thanks a lot for your nice words. I'm glad that these videos help you and other Jeremy Lin fans to get through the ups and downs of all these different games. That's awesome. There's going to be plenty more ups coming for Jeremy soon, so stay tuned. Like I said, games like tonight, oh, Jeremy's benched, that doesn't mean anything. That don't look. The one thing about tonight's game is, for all the people that want Jeremy benched and they want Patrick Beverley to start, well, you got what you wanted. How'd it work out? So, and again, I love Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley, as I've said before, is better than Tony Douglas, and he is a quality backup guard. Is he going to take Jeremy's spot? No. So, Jeremy has plenty of more good moments coming up, and we're looking forward to that. Buntel Trojan from Indonesia, thanks a lot for the nice words, and I hope you have an awesome time at the game in Houston next week. That's great that you're going to get to see Jeremy play in person, and you can come back in the comments and tell us all about it. I'm sure everybody will be interested to hear about that. Jonathan Yo BK from Singapore, what's up, man? It's great to see you around again. And oh yeah, I remember you as John Gen J. Absolutely. I mean, it's been a while. And thanks for the nice words, and it's good to see you back around. Surpreet Singh Ball from India, you will see Beverley and Lin on the court at the same times. Mikhail's doing that less right now. He's kind of his small ball unit doesn't involve Jeremy right now, and so it's not happening as much. But they have been on the court at the same time recently. I can't remember which game, like 2 or 3 games ago. I remember seeing both of those guys on the court at the same time, Beverley and Jeremy. So you will see that. It's just, again, because of the new guys and the different combinations that are possible, Mikhail's just trying some different things. And so just keep watching for that, though. I'm sure that they will be on the court at the same time and sometime soon. The Skeletor 312, hey, man, I like the passion. Don't be afraid to get mad at me. I can take it. I can handle it. If we didn't care about this team and about Jeremy, then nobody would be here, right? So it's good. People are going to get fired up. That's what I said. I signed up for people getting mad at what I say. That's part of being a commentator. If you want everybody to like you, it's not the business you want to be in, unless you're rooting for a team that never loses or something. So, all I said, look, I'm not the enemy, but I don't mind. I mean, it's just like John and I. We'll get different stuff. We're brothers. We'll get mad at each other, but it's all good. But we both get fired up about stuff. So sometimes we're going to butt heads about things, but that's no big deal. It's all good. Stay passionate. That's good. That's what being a fan's all about. And thanks for the nice words. Shiwei Kao from Taiwan. Thanks for the information about decongestants. You know what it is? It's just my immune system's a wreck right now. I run myself really hard. I haven't taken great care of myself. So it's just something I need to get under control. And the sinus thing I'm dealing with, I've had it for like 3 months, and I just didn't do anything about it. So I'll take care of it soon, but I appreciate your feedback and information. I certainly can relate to having hay fever badly. Third Rail, thanks for all of the nice words, and I hope you got to listen to the whole video over the 2 days. That's pretty cool. Will Ham, the videos aren't always going to be 2 hours long. Maybe I'll make them 4 hours instead. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not going to do that, but they're usually not that long. That was just a particularly long one. Ip Diana from Hong Kong, there definitely does seem to be a good friendship between Jeremy, James Harden, and Chandler Parsons. It's great to see. You're right. God does love Jeremy and everybody else. And so, that is, I know that's important for Jeremy, and that is the most important thing. So it's good to keep that in perspective. Minhee Kao from Canada, playoffs are looking good right now, even though the Rockets dropped this game tonight, which was disappointing. But still, we're in good shape for the playoffs. Houston's still looking good there. For all the Mikhail doubters and haters, I will say this. After the first Dallas game, and I forgot to mention this in the last video, at the end of the game, the teams go and they walk back into the little tunnel and go back to the locker room, right? Well, I remember watching the feed. It kept going after the game ended. And Mikhail waited for Jeremy. And they weren't quite in the tunnel yet. They were still by the stands. Mikhail waited for Jeremy, and he gave him like a little fist bump and then was talking to him. It was like, yeah, you played a really good game. So I could just see that he was trying to pump him up. It was like almost kind of smoothing over the Orlando game when he didn't play in the fourth. So, Mikhail's not all bad. He's not. He's not a perfect coach at all, and I think he messed up tonight. But he does like Jeremy, and I thought that was a good little moment that happened to kind of shine a positive light on Coach Mikhail. So it was good. As I said, that's all the comments I got to do right now. I will do more comments soon, either in a comments video by itself or else I'll wrap it into the Game 63 video. Again, thanks for all of the comments, and I've read all of them pretty much, except for I think there were a couple that were put on during the game. Next game is Friday, March 8th in the United States at the Golden State Warriors. That game will take place at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA, which means that the game takes place early Saturday, March 9th in Taipei, Taiwan at 11:30 a.m. So, look, that's going to be an interesting game. We know the whole Houston-Golden State rivalry this year, and Houston's gotten the better of it. Golden State, they're not a great team. They're a good team. They can score. It should be a fun game. It should be a fun game, and hopefully a game that Houston can win. But we'll be looking forward to that 2 days from now. Okay, your comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We'll have all the information in the video description below the video player so you can check out game stories, game highlights, and the box score of this game. Also information so you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group if you'd like to do that. We have over 2,000 members and counting. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. I hope everybody's having a great night, a great day wherever you are when you watch this, even though tonight wasn't Houston's night, and Jeremy got the short end of the stick tonight from Coach McHale. But again, on to the next game, and I feel good Jeremy will bounce back, even against a tough opponent and matchup in Stephen Curry. But like I said, Jeremy responds well to competition, and I'm sure he won't be thrilled about what happened tonight. And so I'm looking forward to the next game. Everybody take care. We will talk to you again soon.